This is like such a crazy thing with fighting, and you know, people talk about it in jiu-jitsu, like get past the panic zone, you know, get good with chokes and like hold on a little bit longer, don't panic, get comfortable with that, and you know, learn to when to tap and all that sort of shit. But you know what? From striking and real fighting, whenever I've gotten a fight and I'm winning, you know, which back in my 20s just wrestle the guy down and like fucking spit on him and like grab fish hook his mouth or something and say who's the fucking master, and then have him cry, steal his shoes and make him get naked and walk home or whatever the fuck it was. But like, you know, I'd take the guy down and nobody knew what to do, so I just do that. I felt fucking good, right? I felt good. And then like when Matt hit me, because it was like shoulder bump, and then I'm like cool, and then I just see this fist like and just this stoic look on his face, because I could remember it. He's just like boom, and it was just, and in that moment you go through a process, and if you're not used to it, you know, and you get rocked, because this guy could hit like with insane power, man. And basically it's like, oh fuck, and then you're like hurt, you're in pain, you're like shit, what's going on? And then you're pissed. You know, it's about 2 seconds before. So if you're in a fight, 1 or 2 seconds of lag time is not good. In you know, if you're fighting, and like we were talking about earlier, you're whatever you are, you have some advantage, you start fucking somebody up and you're kicking ass, you feel good, you feel on top of the world, and then one thing happens that inflicts pain that you can't avoid, you know, that your endorphins can't override. It's like it's a pretty insane moment. And I think that guys who aren't aware of that, you can just see a fight switch. You know, we were talking about that too. Like if you get in a fight, you like armbar a guy and you're in a street fight, or you do something like that, as soon as you let go, they fuck with you. You have to hurt them, or you have to inflict like defeating pain. Yeah. You know, either with head trauma or choke them out, or hurt their knee or something, you know.
You know, you can see it too. You can actually go on YouTube and find some fights. You can see when guys have in that fight, the first time they ever got hit, or you know, actually some of the girl fights, you can see that too. They just shut out. Not everybody does that. Some people are natural born fighters, you know, but some people, it's such a shock to the system that they freeze. And I had my very first fight when I was a young kid. I froze. A guy hit me like 8, 9, 10 times, and I was just like a deer in headlights. My whole side of my jaw was bruised for 2-3 months, on my whole cheek. And I just remember freezing. Not my whole body, everything was like not just frozen, like what the fuck was that? And it's that happens. That's why the experience has to be, you have to know how you're going to react once you get hit. And some fighters can go a long time and not know how they're going to react when they're in trouble. You know, that's why sometimes guys can have a really good war and come out of it a much better fighter, because they were tested and they doubted themselves. Like me, I'm pretty well tested, and I'm pretty much know that if I were to go in a cage fight and get started to get beat down, I'd quit. I'm not that tough. You know, I'm not built like that. I don't. You know, not all the time. I think I wouldn't fold in a street fight. I would still try to survive. But some people are just like, they can go into those deep waters, and that's what makes the fighter. You know, that they can base their whole game off of that. And other guys don't even know how they'll react when they get hit. And you've got to know, like, I know how I would do in those situations, and because I've proven to myself that A, I can get through it. I've done it before. B, to me, it's not worth it. I'm not really like, I'm not willing to put myself through that, so I'm not really that tough to do it. But it's the experience of knowing, like, when guys go into MMA and they get a really good training camp, and the guys are beating the shit out of them, their training partners, and their training camp is harder than their actual fight. It's real hard to finish those guys. They may get caught in something, but when because there's something that happens, it's almost like their whole being gets stronger as a result of getting beat down. And this is the truth, and that's not the recommended training method all the time, but when you have those experiences behind you, you keep those to a certain extent, if that makes sense. So just getting your ass beat, you know, may save you in 5 years to know that, okay, I can get through this. I've gone harder. Or it happens like, I used to wrestle on Fridays with Doc Snow. He's what? How big is that guy?
Yeah.
And I just use it as a time to calm my emotions and bide my time on the bottom and try not to panic and then turn the tides. But what happens as a result of that is that when I go wrestle other people, they're not nearly as tough or strong, and I just naturally beat them because I'm already used to a higher level.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's putting yourself in those situations, the experiences that changes you on some level.
Man,
but you don't want to overdo it. Like
right. Yeah.
You know, Matt Hughes in their training camp used to be notorious for hurting guys. And
the Militich.
Yeah. And so a lot of guys, you know, the injury to reward factor is it gets too much at some point. It in my opinion, it's almost more important to go there at least once or twice when you know it's going to happen, but to get taken in those deep waters than it is to do it all the time.